I saw a video on Facebook, of all places. Mind you, I do get a lot of things shared on Facebook that I think, oh, thanks for that. That's crazy. But this was actually more interesting than just the usual lunacy I see people sharing and go, totally gonna rip into that one. It was this geezer, just doing a little video on his phone in a car. He was a black fella, wasn't he? But he was talking about, recent things with the whole black Ariel and so forth. Diversity, people of color. And he made a very good point. And I was like, oh, why didn't I understand that? Now, if you're looking at this, sorry, it's hard to, I always forget I've got to point the other way. Looking at this, you're probably getting a fair idea of where I'm headed with this. And what he was saying is, corporations have recognized the spending power of the black community in America, particularly. And therefore, they are their new target. Therefore, that's who they want to appeal to, because it's growing spending power. Not just a growing population, but a growing spending power. Certain demographics spend more than others, is the fact. Look, it's the same reason why a lot of big corporations, were very fierce in latching onto social justice movements and ethical causes, and trying to present themselves as woke or progressive, whatever. It's all just bullshit. It's just a cash grab, because marketing experts told them, saying, well, you like millennials and they're frivolous with their cash. Well, millennials are into this sort of thing, 68 genders and so forth. That's what they like. So you're gonna have to get on board with all that if you want the millennial pounds and dollars in your pocket. And so they did it. Which is why you get this very strange relationship between people who are supposedly progressive and massive corporations, because they seem to love them. They're like actually in love. They worship these massive corporations and they think they can do all right. It's very bizarre. They're like, oh, it's great. Google is it's fucked up. Because if a demographic starts spending more money and consuming more products and so forth, then you're gonna have to roll with the times. Now, if you're familiar or unfamiliar with the dancehall artist, he was Elephant Man. I mean, Elephant Man's not like underground. Elephant Man's had some, he's had some pop success. Maybe not for a decade or so, but people know Elephant Man. Elephant Man was, one of those dancehall artists who was known for having homophobic lyrics and being quite anti-gay and so forth. And there was a documentary they did, talking about being gay in Jamaica, and they went to interview Elephant Man. And Elephant Man had changed his tune about his thoughts on the, general homosexual community and so forth. And as very matter of fact as he could be, and very blunt, he just said, well, my manager, I'm not even going to do the voice. He said his manager had sort of, or his business manager, someone, had said to him, that homosexuals, the gay community in particular, spend a lot. The pink pound, they used to call it. The pink pound. It's very strong. They generally, are big consumers compared to other demographics of people. And so he was like, well, it made financial sense for me to to bin off the old gay bashing rhetoric. Big corporation is no different to your boy Elephant Man. Alright. So it does kind of make sense that, black people are more like, certain people are more likely to relate to products if they can see themselves with it. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense. That it's why, you have L'Oreal adverts, or Maybelline. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. You're not going to have a dude selling female products to females, are you? Although you do have James Charles now, the game has slightly changed. But in general, that's the way it goes. So look at this. This is and this is what he spoke about. This geezer in this video, he said about a Nielsen report from a couple of years ago. Well, it's about a year and a half ago. And I found a few different ones that basically say the same thing. So this is it. So black impact, consumer categories where African Americans move markets. So black consumers are speaking directly to brands in unprecedented ways and achieving headline-making results. Throughout 2017, popular brands witnessed the power of black Twitter. Now that's very important. And the brand impact of socially conscious black consumers. Socially conscious black consumers. Black Twitter. Now we know Twitter, as it's just a rule of thumb, is a fucking shit show of rage and just yapping. Journalists go straight to Twitter now. They don't bother doing anything else. They don't go on the field. They just go, oh, what's Twitter saying? All right, here's a story I can write. It's like that. It's like an outraged minority. No pun intended. So that's what you get. And you get socially conscious black consumers. So just off the bat, it's like, right, socially conscious black consumers. Make Ariel black. What's going to be going on? People that don't want her to be black are going to be like, rah, 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 rah. Black Twitter is going to go just go crazy. And therefore the product is marketed. Marketed very well. With not a lot of spending. And it hasn't even been made yet. And it's the talk of the town. Do you know what I'm saying? It's very useful. Outrage culture pushes a message. It makes a message spread far and wide. Donald Trump understood this. Or at least his team understood this. Everything, come on. The guy became president because of it. Like, how do you... So through social media, black consumers have brokered a seat at the table and are demanding that brands and marketers speak to them in ways that resonate culturally and experientially. If these brands want their business, and with African Americans spending $1.2 trillion annually, brands have a lot to lose. That's a lot of money for a minority, a supposed minority. Although, can you call it black? Isn't like America like super black? Isn't it like a huge percentage? It's not like the UK. It's like there's a lot of black people in America compared to other places, isn't it? Are they a minority anymore, really? So diving into dollars spent, black consumers and consumers of color, alike are making considerable contributions to the overall market. In some cases, representing more than 50% of the overall spending in key product categories. That's big. For example, half of the total spend, $941 million, on dry grains and vegetables in the US in 2017 came from consumers of color, and black consumers represented $147 million of the total spend in this category, which has recently made advances in product creation to meet the demands of diverse buyers. So, this is the sort of stuff they're buying, Dry vegetables, baby food, personal soap and bath needs, fresheners and deodorizers, shelf-stable juice and drinks. It's all standard stuff. It's not like there's anything like, oh, that's particularly black, So mainstream manufacturers across other industries are also seizing opportunities to create specific products that appeal to diverse consumers. Not so surprisingly, African Americans have cornered the ethnic hair and beauty market, ringing up $54 million of the $63 million total industry spend in 2017. Well, is that why they made 3 barbershops? They shouldn't even made 1. So, okay, African Americans make up 14% of the US population, but have outsized influence over spending on essential items such as personal soap and bath needs, feminine hygiene products, and men's toiletries. Nielsen research also shows black consumers spent $810 million on bottled water. It goes on and on. Here's other spending habits that black people in America have. So it kind of opens your eyes a bit to the forced diversity thing. Maybe loads of people thought it's because, the woke progressives have taken over Hollywood and taken over, games and TV, whatever. No. These are just shameless corporations. Shameless. there's nothing wrong, essentially, with, you know, recognizing a market and trying to appeal to it to create more profit, because it benefits both people. You know, black people want the stuff that they want, and they want to sell black people the stuff that they want. But they've been used as a commodity, basically. You know, this is what the geezer was saying. He's saying, you know, if you have a black face in a film and product placement, and, you know, especially big Hollywood films, that's what's really annoying. It's like the big Hollywood thing. It's like, you know, when Black Ariel, when the Black Little Mermaid comes out, you know, you can have a fucking, you know, like Disney and McDonald's always go hand in hand. That's one thing, you know, ever since I can remember. You know, you have the Little Mermaid Happy Meal and the little toy and shit. You know, get your can of Coke and have, you know, have a Little Mermaid on it, so on and so forth. It's what it is. Forced diversity has been done because a lot of other people mentioned, you know, it's like they're not giving them their own things. I mean, you got Black Panther, but that's part of a bigger thing anyway. You know, but like making people black, changing characters. They say, oh, we want black representation. It's like, look, we know what you're doing. We know why you jumped on social justice movements. You see the power of Black Twitter and how it can reduce your marketing spend. Black people are buying shit. They're spending lots of money. And the whole forced diversity thing. This is why it's bullshit, because Hollywood, it's like, oh, we care. We want everyone. It's like, all right, will you just leave it alone? Okay. And just admit, going, well, they're spending a lot of money. Yeah? Why can't Hollywood be more like Elephant Man? And just go, well, apparently they spend a lot of money and I want it. And I want it. Thank you very much. That's why I'm going to do it. You know, with this whole belief that it's great. Oh, look at this diversity. You know, it's the same with the Chinese market. Like, they'll either put a Chinese actor in a lot of films that they want to market China, because they have this thinking that the Chinese want to see a Chinese person in one of their foreign films, even though China has their own films. You do notice that. You notice that in Rogue One when Donnie Yen's in it. You know, I'd even argue that Rose character in The Last Jedi was just in there for the Chinese market. I would argue that, because that's how cynical they are. That's the kind of thing they do. They'll discuss this kind of thing, you know, because they want to make money. Hollywood doesn't make anything good anymore. It does have any originality, but they sort of falsely package originality, which I'll be talking about in the next video. I'll even put a link in for once, so you can have a look at that. So that's it, basically. It was like, oh, why didn't I? Because I didn't know about the black spending power. I didn't know how much money they were spending, how big a consumers they were. So I just didn't. But of course, it's the same as the social justice thing. They wanted to get millennials to buy their products, so they jumped onto social justice. They can see socially conscious black people out there, so they do this. You know, but it's like making Ariel black and whatever they're doing is just so. What's the word? I can't even think of the word to describe it. It's just. You know, it's cynical. It's just so cynical, and so it's like, oh my god, I can see what you're doing. I mean, it does go on. Look at all the stuff they're buying. Look, companies should take notice of even the subtle shifts in spending, because black consumer brand loyalty is contingent upon a brand's perception as authentic, culturally relevant, socially conscious and responsible. In fact, 38% of African Americans between the ages of 18 and 34 and 41% of those aged 35 or older say they expect brands they buy to support social causes. That's right. It's the same old thing. That's their target demographic, social causes, but now black social causes. Does it all sort of make more sense to you as it goes along? You know, if they weren't into that, if let's say 50% black people were just like, no, we love the Ku Klux Klan, actually. We think they're kind of niche and, you know, trying to be, you know, black people trying to be edgy, going, oh, we like the Ku Klux Klan. We're ironic now. That's what black people do now. We're just really ironic. We're really ironic. Mate, there'll be KKK fucking everywhere. You'll be sucking off the KKK. You get a KKK Happy Meal. See if it doesn't happen. Give it a try, just for a laugh. And that's it. That's it. It's just corporate commodities, man. They don't give a fuck. This is why you should make your own shit. This is why you should do your own shit, not rely on these big corporations to do shit for you. You should do your own shit. You know, you want to have if you want to have your socially conscious black brand, make it yourself. Don't let these fucking dickheads hijack it. You know what I mean? You want to have a great black superhero character or something, or whatever. You want to have your own black Disney type thing, whatever. You know, make it do it yourself. Like, make your own shit. Don't fall for this. This is nonsense, man. It's nonsense. Everyone's sort of praising it, going, this is wonderful. You know, and it's usually media outlets that are owned by massive corporations anyway, going, this is wonderful. You've got to tell everyone how wonderful this is. Oh, yeah, this is wonderful. Go watch this film. Support this film. You must support this film with your hard-earned money. No. Take your hard-earned money and spend it better somewhere else. You know. And I have seen comments, people saying, you know, under this video that I saw, going, yeah, you know, we should be saving our money, we should be building something. Instead, there's the man trying to take it all away, and there is a lot of truth to that. There is, man. So, you know, don't be suckered in by this bullshit, man. Not good. Loves and kisses. See you later.